When you're ready to move, figuring out what to do with your current home can be a pretty daunting task. Should you sell it and use the proceeds for your next big adventure, or should you keep it as a rental and build long-term wealth? This is a question that many homeowners think about, and the answer is rarely that straightforward. Whether you're intrigued by the potential income from renting or a little bit apprehensive about the responsibilities of being a landlord, there's a lot to consider. So let's walk through some of the key questions and factors to help you make the best decision for your unique situation. My name is Bent Danholm. I'm a real estate broker, property manager, and a real estate marketing expert with Maxim Realty Orlando in Central Florida. I have decades of experience in buying, selling, and investing in and managing investment properties. So let's get to it. The first thing that you will want to consider is this. Is your home even a good fit for renting? So even if you're considering becoming a landlord, your current house might not actually be ideal for renting. There are several factors that can influence this decision. The first one you should consider is the location. Is your home located in an area with high rental demand? Typically, urban areas, college towns, and regions with strong job markets have more renters looking for properties. On the other hand, less desirable areas or maybe rural areas, in those areas it can be a little bit challenging to find tenants. It's also the matter of maintenance and upkeep. If you're moving far away from your property, keeping up with the ongoing maintenance could be a hassle. Regular maintenance issues such as lawn care, plumbing, and electric repairs can be very, very difficult to manage from a distance. You should also think about and take a critical look at the condition of the house. Does your home need significant repairs or updates before it can be rented out? You should consider that renters these days typically expect a certain standard of living, and they do not like outdated or damaged properties. These properties will definitely not attract high quality tenants. Also, is the neighborhood suitable for rentals? Some neighborhoods are more appealing to homeowners than renters. So consider the local amenities, the school districts, and the overall community vibe. Would you be able to rent out in this community? So if any of these factors are less than ideal, selling might actually be your best option. But let's consider that your home is perfect for rent, which to be fair, most homes are. Then the next question is, are you ready to become a landlord and facing the realities of being a landlord? Because managing a rental property is not just about collecting rent. It's a pretty time-consuming and sometimes very challenging job. Some of the realities to consider are tenant management. You could get calls from tenants at all hours of the day with maintenance requests. 2 o'clock in the morning, toilet is blocked. What do I do? You'll need to respond promptly to keep your tenants satisfied as well, so you can prevent small issues from becoming major problems. Are you prepared for this? Then there's the issue of property damage. Your tenants might cause damage that you will have to repair before the next lease starts. This can be anything from minor wear and tear to some pretty significant damages that would require professionals to repair it. You also have to think about dealing with tenants falling behind on their payments or breaking their lease early. This will disrupt your cash flow and could create some financial stress for you. And as a landlord, you will need to understand and comply with local, state, and federal laws regarding tenant rights, fair housing, and property management, and all the other legal issues that comes with being a property manager or landlord. This can be pretty complex and is very time consuming. It's also worth considering the emotional stress. The responsibility of managing a rental property can be very emotionally taxing. You'll need to be prepared for the stress and frustration that can come with tenants' disputes, property issues, and the financial uncertainties when tenants don't pay or big repairs come up. And if you Google this, it's definitely not difficult to find horror stories of landlords troubled and who are getting more headaches and profits out of renting out property that rent out. So before you decide to rent out your property, you might want to talk to other landlords or maybe some property managers, real estate professionals, and in the end, you might find that it's could be better for you to sell the home and take the cash than renting it out. It could be the more beneficial decision or the less stressful one. Now, this may sound like I'm trying to convince you not to become a landlord. That is actually very far from what I'm trying to do. I know that being a landlord has many advantages and can be extremely rewarding, but it is extremely important also to consider the whole picture before you become one, so you're prepared for the hiccups that will come along the way. On a slightly different note, if you find this video useful, why not follow me on your favorite social media channel or subscribe to my YouTube channel? It's so easy, and it will keep you up to date on the latest in the real estate market here in Central Florida. So the next thing you should consider is, do you have a good understanding of what it will cost to become a landlord? If you're thinking about renting out your home primarily to generate extra income, remember that there are additional costs that you want to plan for. There are mortgage payments and property taxes if you have a mortgage, but even if you don't, there's still property taxes. And you'll need to pay these expenses even if the rent doesn't come in or if it doesn't cover all of it. So you want to make sure that you can afford the mortgage and taxes without relying entirely on your rental income. You also need to have insurance, and it's worth noting that landlord insurance costs about 25% more than regular home insurance. And it is really necessary to make sure that you have cover for all damages and injuries. So you need to make sure you're covered for any potential liabilities as well, and there's a cost to that. Also, take a look at maintenance and repairs. Even if your home is in good condition now, there will be ongoing maintenance and repair issues. I would personally plan on spending at least 1% of the home's value annually on maintenance, and more if the home is older. And these maintenance issues can be anything from routine maintenance to emergency repairs. So if your home is worth $500,000, you would want to set aside at least $5,000 for maintenance and repairs. Finding a tenant is also a cost. You can advertise for free in a lot of places, but most landlords find that they would end up having to either enlist the help of a real estate professional to find a tenant, or they'll have to pay for advertising. And both will cost you money, and is something you need to consider when you budget for how much money you think you'll be making out of the rental. Vacancies is another thing that you definitely need to take into consideration. Your property will, at least in some years, sit empty between tenants, and you will not have any rental income in that period, meaning that you have to be prepared to cover all the costs of running the property, even if it's not generating any income. So that's something you definitely need to factor into your financial planning. Finally, it may not be big, but there are also management fees and HOA fees or condo fees. If you decide to take on a property manager to ease the burden, which I would highly recommend unless you are experienced yourself, that could typically cost you anywhere from 8 to 10% of the rent. And if your home is in a HOA or condo association, there'll be condo or HOA fees to pay as well. So about the property manager, I would certainly weigh the cost of hiring one against the time and effort you'll save and the headaches you'll save by having one. So how does this selling compare to renting? Well, let's take a look at the financial aspects of selling versus renting, so you get a better idea of that. Selling your home will obviously provide you with some immediate cash. It'll give you a lump sum of money that you can use for your next home purchase. You can invest the money, or you can pay off some debts. This can definitely offer you some immediate financial freedom and flexibility. Also want to consider the current real estate market. If home prices are really high, you might get a better return on your investment by selling now and invest the money somewhere else until prices may come down. Conversely, if the market is a little bit slow or the rental prices are really high, you might want to consider renting out your home. Also, some tax implications to consider. Selling your home may have tax implications such as capital gains tax. On the other hand, if it was your primary residence and you lived there for the last 2 or 3 years, at least 2 of the last 5 years, you may qualify for an exclusion on the portion of the capital gains tax. So how does this all compare to renting your home? Well, if you rent your home, you're actually getting a steady stream of income, which can be particularly beneficial if you have a low mortgage balance or maybe even own your home outright. It can give you cash every month. It's also the long-term appreciation. If you sell your home, you will say goodbye to any future increases in the value of your home. But if you hold on to the property, it will continue to appreciate over time and potentially provide you a higher return on your investment in the long run. There are also some pretty significant tax deductions as a landlord. You can deduct all expenses related to the rental property, such as your mortgage interest, your property taxes, your insurance, your maintenance cost, your advertisement cost for finding tenants, and you can also depreciate on the property currently over 27 and a half years, giving you a pretty decent tax benefit on your rental income. You will want to consult a tax professional to understand all these deductions and how they specifically apply to you. Keeping your property, even let's for argument's sake that properties stop going up in value, which I find very hard to believe. If you have a mortgage, you'll continue to build equity in your home by paying off no longer paying off the mortgage, but by your tenant paying off your mortgage. And I don't think we can ever find a period in time where at least over 5 to 6 years properties have not gone up in value. So you also continue to get the value increase as we talked about before. So how do you decide between the two? Well, you should start by assessing your personal financial situation. Review all your finances, including your mortgage, your savings, and your monthly expenses. Try to figure out if you can afford the cost associated with renting, including any potential vacancies or maybe some unexpected repairs. You should also take a look at the market conditions. Research the local real estate market. You could talk to a real estate professional about that to understand the value of your home currently and the demand for rental in the area, how much rent you can expect to get and how easy it is to rent out your property. So you can have a real estate professional give you a professional market analysis of both the rental market and the sale market. And you should also talk to a financial advisor, your tax professional, and an attorney to understand how this all applies to you, what the implications to you might be. They can all provide you some insight into all the financial, the legal, and the market aspects of your decision. You might also want to consider your long-term goal. Think about what are your long-term financial and personal goals. Do you want to build a real estate portfolio to build up your wealth, or are you looking for some immediate financial relief? These goals will and should influence your decision. I find the good way of doing that is creating a pros and cons list. You can list all the advantages and disadvantages of selling and renting. This can really help you visualize the potential outcome and make a more informed decision. When you see it all on a piece of paper or the screen, it really helps. So to sum it all up, whether you want to sell or rent out your property is a very personal decision that depends on your specific circumstances. But whatever you decide, taking the time to evaluate your options will help you make the best choice for your future. So make sure you weigh the pros and cons carefully and consult with all the relevant professionals so you feel that you're supported and you're fully informed before you make your final decisions. And that's what we are for on the real estate side. And we can obviously also help point you in the direction of both tax professionals, legal professionals, and financial advisors to help you get the best possible foundation for your decision. So deciding whether you rent or sell your home is really a significant decision that will have long-lasting implications, both personally and financial. So you need to thoroughly evaluate your home's rental potential, and you need to understand the responsibilities of being a landlord and considering all the financial aspects so you can make an informed choice that aligns with your goals. And remember, what is the right decision for you may not actually be the right decision for someone else. There is really no right or wrong here, or there's a right or wrong for you. So take the time to assess your situation and seek the professional advice and consider the long-term objectives for yourself. I believe that with careful planning and thoughtful consideration, you can actually confidently decide the best path forward for you and your future. I'm Bent Danholm. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.